Good morning. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
We ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Okay. Welcome to the Wine and Wellness Week. This is March Madness 2015. I'm Jamie Dorley, and we'll start off the wellness workshops today, talking about food allergies and connections to things like autoimmune conditions, digestion problems, even mood disorders. So has everyone been to a wellness week before? No? Who's new? Welcome. Thanks for coming. So the way the program works here, if you need help with the program, right? If you need help, if you have a health challenge going on, it could be headaches, could be depression, could be weight, could be joint issues, whatever it may be. If you need help, you need to schedule with somebody here. And the program's going to do 3 steps. One is to do a cleanse, maybe change your diet, get you on some supplements, but a cleansing period, targeted nutrition, and then once you're healthy, we put you on a wellness maintenance program, okay? Once you're healthy, what do? Just come to the wellness weeks. So we do these 5 times a year, and the whole goal is you'll have a wellness experience, because wellness experiences are very positive, right? You eat healthy food, you go for a walk, buy a vitamin, work with a trainer, take an aerobic class, whatever it may be, right? But wellness experiences are very positive. If you look back 10 years ago, are you doing more things now in your life for wellness? Yeah, usually you are, because they help you so much and you're looking for more, right? Maybe you buy a pair of running shoes, you go hiking. There's a lot of things you can do. So at the Wellness Weeks, we want you to have a positive wellness experience with healthy food. We do 35 workshops during the week. We do some product demonstrations today. Is Dan here today? Jim? Is Dan here?
Dan is here.
Yeah, so Dan's doing some testing today for free. In addition, we have samples of products you can try, free literature, healthcare professionals answer any questions. And if you want to buy anything, everything's on sale. So it's a pretty good deal, right? So what do you guys need to do? You need to come back to the next Wellness Week and maybe bring somebody with you. So we like compliments, but if you have any suggestions to make the Wellness Weeks better, topics you like to hear, possible demonstrations, let us know and we'll try to accommodate you, okay? So the whole goal is to get you healthy and keep you healthy. It's like I tell my kids, right? When's the best time to clean the room? When it's clean, right? Yeah. Same with wellness. So if you have, if you've been doing a standard American diet and you're not sure where to start, a good cleansing program would be nice, just to get you, a baseline of where we are now, right? And then the closer you get to wellness, the less dramatic it is, right? Because if you're really far away, you can have dramatic results even on a 10-day cleanse. So we're going to talk about today the food allergies, because so many people are suffering from food allergies, right? And there's some very common ones that we want to talk about. But anything can cause anything, we've learned from Dr. Weiner, right, over the years. I remember there's a woman that came in and she said, "Doc, the only thing I can eat is boiled chicken. That's it. Anything else makes me sick." What do you say? You're allergic to chicken, right? So what you're allergic to, your body will crave the most, right? Oftentimes it's dairy products, could be wheat. The buzzword now is what, gluten? But it's not just gluten, right? Because you can have a gluten-free cookie, it's still a cookie, right? So usually the foods that gluten is in can create some food allergies. And what's the first part of the word? Glue, right? So it's like glue in the body, like white breads, wraps, bagels, pizza, especially if it's poorly made. There's very low fiber and there's much more gluten. That's because the products have been processed, right? So we'll talk about, most importantly, not so much what the problem is, but what is a good strategy you can do starting today, okay? The old naturopath saying is what? Health and wealth begin where? In the colon. Because if you just did nothing else other than evaluate your digestion, you could probably have a pretty good idea on how you're feeling, right? So health begins in the digestive tract. Poor digestion compromises all parts of the body because the digestion of food provides all the building blocks, the energy, the spark plugs, the catalyst, the fuel, right? So you have to have the right fuel coming in, the right food. And food is information, that's all it is, right? It can tell your body to have a lot of energy. It can tell your body to be sluggish, tell your body to be sick. So food is information. But you look at the GI tract, it has a tremendous role in immune health, right? Because about 70%, if you learn anything today, write this down, 70% of your immune system is located in the digestive system, right? In the intestinal tract. You knew that, right? Good. So, okay, well maybe there's something here. Why would all the immune cells be in the digestive system? You ever think about it? Why is it in the intestinal tract? Why? Well, if you look at it this way, you know, where do we protect our country? On the borders, right? That's where you're going to have the most opportunistic attacks on the body, right? So if you look at the mouth all the way through the anus, that's like a long pipe going through your body where the outside world can travel, right? But it doesn't get into your body until it passes the barrier, and most of that absorption occurs where? In the small intestinal tract, right? We'll talk about that in a minute, just remember that. But this is a very complex system. You have stomach acidity, you have antibodies, you have enzymes. Good bacteria are called what? Probiotic. And what are the bad bugs called? Parasites, toxins, funguses, yeast, molds, candida. You guys have heard of this before, right? So what you feed the diet, what you feed the body, right? What you feed the body will determine what type of environment you'll have. Stress is involved, alcohol, smoking, right? Sugars, fibers. Because the good bugs feed on fiber and the bad bugs feed on sugars. So it's all talking about the environment. And all the way back to 400 BC, the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, said what? Let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food. Right? So, this is our small intestinal tract, right? On the left is a healthy version. It's a muscle, just like these, right? You got to use it or lose it. So it should be strong, good color, good thickness, and smothered and covered in probiotic. Think of the probiotic almost like the scab on a cut. It protects that area. It helps the digestion, helps fight off foreign invaders, toxins, detoxifies, right? So that's the environment you want. Good fiber will feed the good bacteria, and it's going to be nice and thick and strong. On the unhealthy side, you're going to find a completely different environment. Think of this almost like your grass, right? You have a nice lawn. Because on top of the intestinal tract is a villi or a hair-like filter, right? It's designed to filter out all the waste products and allow only certain things through into the bloodstream, right? Like digested food, nutrients. This is like the old screen door, if you remember having a screen door before central air. So the job of the screen door was to allow what? Air through, but keep out the bugs. And what happened at Grandma's house? The screen may rip, right? And then what happened? You let the bugs in. So this is supposed to be a barrier, just like the ozone layer. It's supposed to allow certain things through, but block a lot of the unwanted material to going into the bloodstream. Plus, some foods are very difficult to digest, right? Dairy products, gluten, sugars, processed junk, right? So sometimes what happens is this intestinal tract will wear out. It becomes a breeding ground for yeast, bacteria. Those all chew up that filter on the top, and they make this intestinal tract very exposed. Right? And what happens now is a lot of things that would normally be filtered through are being absorbed in the bloodstream. When it gets in the bloodstream, what happens? All those immune cells, they dial 911, right? Foreign invader in the blood. And part of the immune response is what? Pain, inflammation. Does that make sense? So a lot of things that we don't want to get into the bloodstream do. Plus, they irritate a lot of these immune cells. So dairy products, wheat, soy, corn, these are just some of the more common food allergens. But now it's not only the food, it's what's in it, right? What else is added to this food that we could be allergic to? So we find out with dairy products, a lot of it is the antibiotics, the hormones, right? The things that are added to the cattle and the food cycle that you're going to have problems with. So it's not always the food itself. Oftentimes, it's where the food is grown and how it's processed. So how it gets to you. So if you were to have wild fish versus farm-raised fish, the wild fish would be much better, right? Wild fish versus McDonald's, what is it, filet of fish, right? Big difference. Grass-fed organic beef versus McDonald's hamburger. Big difference. So what you eats is important too, right? So if you're eating animal products and they're fed an organic diet, grass-fed, that's a tremendous difference in the quality and some of the potential food allergies you're going to have, because whatever they're exposed to, you're exposed to also. Okay? So I think you guys on your next page, you have the diet, right? Or maybe a slide ahead of myself. So this intestinal tract is commonly thought of as a cornerstone of overall good health. Just by looking at your bowel habits, I know it's a topic people think maybe a little gross, but we're all professionals here. It's for education. You know, the less smell, the less wiping, the easier it is to have a bowel movement, the healthier, the better you feel, right? If you're constipated, diarrhea, you know, those can all impact your health tremendously. And that's what we were talking about earlier. 70% of your immune system is located in the mucosa, in this lining of the intestinal tract. Interestingly enough, do you guys know what neurotransmitters are? Like dopamine and serotonin and GABA and epinephrine. Do you guys know what those are? Those are chemical messengers in the brain, right? Where they also find them now is in the intestinal tract. And they're saying most of them are actually in your gut. So if you get a gut feeling about something, it's a pretty good idea to follow it. Yeah. Yeah, functional medicine now, I mean, the amount of education and research being done is tremendous right now. So the intestinal tract is vital to not only your physical, but also your mental health. Depression, look at the gut now. Autoimmune conditions, intestinal tract. If you were to come in as a patient and I didn't ask you any questions at all, and I put you on a GI program, I guarantee at least 80% of what people came in for would be healed. Fibromyalgia, blood sugar, headaches, hormone imbalance. So many different things rely on the intestinal tract. But 70 million people suffer from some type of GI disorders. Who said that? Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. So when you look at it overall, there's a lot of research showing that, right? So we look at it, the digestive system, there's really three parts we're looking at, right? Everybody talks about the absorption. Well, that's only one part. That's getting it into the bloodstream, right? That's why enzymes are so important. Why are enzymes so important? They're breaking the food down, right? So enzymes are vital. We had a seminar last week for doctors and staff, and we had over 50 people attend, and the one speaker really stressed the importance of enzymes, more enzymes, because the more things you're exposed to, the harder they are to break down, the more enzymes you need. And enzymes always end in ASC, right? So look at different enzymes will be designed to help break down different things. So lipase is an enzyme that breaks down fat. Lipase, lipids, right? Protease, proteins. So different enzymes will break it down. Assimilation is when you get the nutrients inside the cell, right? Why do we go in to get them inside the cell? Because they turn things on and off, and then we eliminate. Okay, so we look at it overall, we're looking at absorption, assimilation, and elimination. But there's many components. Where does digestion begin? Mouth, and then maybe even before that, the food, right? Because if the food's live, it'll have enzymes in it. So we know, fruits, veggies, they have enzymes already in them. So they're easy to break down. Yeah, they're easy to break down when they have enzymes in them. But a lot of people have problems with what? Their liver or gallbladder. Well, maybe they don't have one. They're going to have much more difficulty breaking down fats. So if you have problems like breaking down fat or losing weight, or you have no gallbladder or fatty liver, you need betazyme. That is B-E-T-A-Z-Y-M-E, right? Betazyme. This is a problem breaking down fats. If you're on antacids. Also, if you have a problem with gallbladder or liver, this is what you need. So, the next page you have in your handout says diet to reduce inflammation, right? Yes? You guys have this? Yes? Okay, good. We're on the same page. So I think this is probably the most complete food program out there. It's not 100% vegetarian, but it reduces a lot of the processed meats. It does allow you some fish. So if you look on the front, the list on the left can be eaten every day. These can be eaten weekly, and these can be eaten monthly. Because fish can have contamination in it, right? So the bigger the fish, the larger the fish, the fatter the fish, the more toxins. Why is that? Because we store toxins in fat, right? Toxins are fat soluble. So this food program is going to eliminate, this is called a modified food program, anti-inflammatory, modified Mediterranean. It's a modified food program. So what it does is eliminates the most common foods that you may have allergies to. Okay? So I named a few of those. Plus, you're eliminating what I call junk. Is there any junk food? No, not really. It's just junk. There's no food in it.
That's right.
Right?
No value whatsoever.
And the less you eat the junk food, the more you realize when you do eat it, what it does to your body. Right? So eventually you just cut it out or you eat it all the time. There should really be no gray area there because you're not going to feel well. Did you guys all see Super Size Me? Did you? No? It's a movie. Movie, yeah. No? It's a great documentary. It's very educational. It's fun to watch. But it follows Morgan Spurlock. And what Morgan does is he goes on a 30-day diet of nothing but McDonald's. And if they ask him, does he want to supersize it, he has to say yes. Right? And after about 21 days, when they find out that his liver enzymes are so backed up because he has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease stage 1. After only 21 days. So what happened is that he was on this food that creates a lot of food allergies, to the point he was getting addicted to the food. So a lot of the products out there, the junk, has a lot of additives that make it addicting, right? We've all had this. Could be chips, could be soda, cigarettes, alcohol, coffee, sugar, right? So this is going to give you a complete outline of the best food program that we have, okay? Low allergy potential, high nutrient quality. How do you know if it's food or junk? Yeah, if you could find it on the planet and there was no grocery store, then it's probably food, right? Also, if it goes bad at room temperature, it's food. Because the Twinkies and the chips, they may be able to, what's that? Yeah. You ever see it on YouTube or in the doctor's office where they buy the Big Mac, right? And they leave it in a case or on the counter, like in a little glass container. And what happens to it? Nothing. Years. Yeah.
And it doesn't change.
No.
It shrinks.
No.
It's like space.
It looks like the same thing. If you heat it up in the microwave, it probably would be much different. So if it can't break down with all the bacteria at room temperature, do you think you can break it down in the body very well? No. And folks, look, I know between the marketing, right, the chemicals they put in it to make it addicting, and the perceived value, right? They even try to tell you it's very inexpensive. But I look at it this way, when you're not getting any nutrition, you're going to be hungry anyway. So you're not getting the nutrients in. So I understand there's a lot of things going against us, so you've got to make a conscious effort, especially fast food, to eliminate them from the diet. But as fast as you want to get would be something like Subway, because at least they have veggies there, right? So GI dysfunction can underlie many unrelated disorders. So we see things like psoriasis, eczema, parasites, rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma. Look at all these chronic autoimmune conditions directly related: IBS, Crohn's, colitis. I even had a girl, she made a video for us. She came in at the December Wellness Week, was on chemotherapy and prednisone. It was tremendously swollen, right? You can only imagine. She had a rare blood disorder that was attacking her spleen, autoimmune condition. So I could tell right away she had a yeast buildup. How? She's on prednisone, she has autoimmune condition, and realizing that anemia can be contributed to an underlying cause of parasites. Now, if you don't know that, you don't know it, right? But if you do, and working here at Dr. Weiner, I have the privilege of learning so many things, and that is one of the top 3 things. Write these down. These are 3 things. If medicine's not helping somebody, think these 3 things. You can look like a genius. Okay? I'm going to make you all geniuses right away. And that's not an easy feat with this room. Hey, I'm in the room too, okay? How you doing? Okay, number 1. These are 3 things. If medicine's not helping you, a friend, a spouse, family member, colleague, even an enemy, right? If it's not helping them, it's probably one of these 3 things. 1, thyroid dysfunction. Number 2, parasites. And number 3 would be yeast, fungus, candida, mold, right? So when someone comes in, they've been to a doctor and they can't find anything wrong with them, we're thinking those 3 things right away. So if you have like somebody who says, oh, Every time I eat, I run to the bathroom. It's been going on for 2 years, 3 years. Parasites, it's so obvious. Oh, I'm bloating, I got skin rashes, I can't lose weight, I'm craving sugars, probably yeast. Constipation, dry skin, thinning hair, nails, high cholesterol, probably thyroid dysfunction, right? Weight gain, fatigue. So you get the idea. So we're talking about here, it's called leaky gut. Have you guys ever heard that term, leaky gut? Yeah? It's still fairly new. But it's been proven that when that intestinal tract breaks down, you have many systemic inflammatory issues. Systemic means we have inflammation of the organs, right? And that can lead to all these common food allergy issues. Now, as Doc said yesterday, he don't care about the label or the stamp you have, you know, that you got RA or you have this. What's causing it? That's most important, right? What's causing the problem? So the other thing we want to look at, one is the diet, but the other two things are probiotics and enzymes, right? So if you have an issue with autoimmune condition, we may need to add in GI Complete, but if you don't, probiotic and enzyme should be part of your everyday foundation. Okay? Probiotic and enzymes should be a foundation program. So look at the probiotic as a multi for your intestinal tract and your immune system. And the enzyme's job is to what? Break things down so we can better absorb, assimilate, and excrete, right? Yeah, maybe a multivitamin can go in there, maybe an essential fat. That's your foundation. Anyone ever take the Fantastic Five? It's in packets. Usually you pay for convenience, right? You buy a bottle of water versus a gallon, it costs you more, right? But in this case, you actually save almost 30%, then you save with a discount. But we have our multi in there, we have our fish oil, vitamin D, CoQ10, probiotic, and enzymes. And it comes in a packet. So if you say, I want just one thing to take, what should I take? It'll be the Fantastic Five. It's quick, it's convenient, and it's a great value. So these are foundational things everyone should be on. But we have a few different types of probiotic depending on what the goal is. The superbiotic is our strongest one. This is a miracle worker. Folks, even if you don't have digestion issues, you take this, you're going to say, wow, I've been improved. I didn't even know I had any issues, right? This is much better than I was doing last month. So the good thing about the probiotics is, depending on what your goal is, we can use different ones, right? Then the Probezyme has probiotic and enzymes together. It's a 2-for-1, right? And it's chewable. Have you guys tried these? Anyone take Probezyme? Yeah? And we have samples over there to try. These are great. I like them because, you know, we talk about digestion starting in the mouth or the food, right? So that's chewable, so you can break that down. You can absorb it. It's going to start working right away. You have to break down a tablet. And then we have the SPC and the Frontier Biotics. Frontier Biotics is a good all-around probiotic. And SPC is great for what? Traveler's diarrhea and yeast. Think of the SPC as like the police officer that takes you from the courthouse to the jail. It's very specific, short period of time, but the SPC is great for diarrhea and yeast. So if you're traveling, you got to take the SPC before you go, and then when you come on while you're gone, and then right when you come back. And it's not only international anymore. There's such a variety of different types of waters from Pittsburgh to New York to Florida to Vegas. So if you travel, you can be exposed to all different types of things just with the differences in the water. So we look at a full GI restoration program. It's called the 5R, right? Remove, replace, reinoculate, repair, and relief. So this is a way you can actually change, like your front lawn that was damaged, you can change your intestinal tract. Now, not everyone needs a complete program. We're going to show you a Cliff Note version if you just want to clean things up a little bit, or a more complete program if you had some chronic issues. So we're going to buzz through these a little bit, okay? So if you had to remove bad bugs, you see GI Completes there? That's part one of the Cliff Note version. Part two is going to be what? Probezyme. So you can do a whole program right here. Before Nutritional Frontiers, that would have been 7 products at about $250. Now with Nutritional Frontiers, it's 2 products, about $100 before the discount. So we simplify the program for you. And it's a powder and a chewable. So if you're having problems with digestion or immune function, right, or food allergies, you want to give yourself something that's very easy to break down. And that's why we use so many powders, chewables, liquids, veggie caps, sprays, and very few tablets. Only when we have to use a tablet will we. So what are we trying to remove? Trying to change the diet. Maybe you have some bad bugs. Maybe it's provocative foods. So we want to replace fiber, enzymes, stomach acids. So fiber you should be getting from your diet, primarily, right? But if you do any of the colors, like anyone do the greens, reds, oranges, purples, those all have fiber. What about Super Shake? Anyone do Super Shake? That has fiber. And the Best Way will have fiber. In addition, we have Frontier Fiber, which is nice because it's gritless, tasteless, odorless, and you can mix with any hot or cold food or beverage. That's what was mentioned, the fiber, and then the betazyme, and then any of the enzymes. You want to reinoculate probiotics? And then what are prebiotics? Prebiotic is the food for the probiotic. They're good bugs. We got to give them food so they can regenerate. And there's some of the formulas again. GI Complete, Probezyme. So how can you do a complete program with 2 products? GI Complete, Probezyme, right? Simple and easy. This if you have some damage that have occurred, because sometimes you can go get tested to get colonoscopy, endoscopy, and what does it show? Nothing. But you have problems. You have skin issues. You can't lose weight. You have headaches. You have symptoms of IBS or Crohn's or colitis. Maybe you have those diseases, right? Very real. But does anyone have an autoimmune condition? You don't have to raise your hand, but does anyone know anyone who has one? Yes? What are they being told by the medical doctor? This is uncurable. So they tell them, right? And what do they start them out with? NSAIDs, like over-the-counter pain relievers. And they say, we bring in the methotrexate, sulfasalazine later on. Why don't they bring in those drugs right away? Because they have so many side effects, they don't want to introduce them until the disease is progressed. Okay, so this is the message we're getting, right? We can't help you. we're going to give you these pain relievers. And when it gets really bad, we're going to bring in the drugs that have a lot of side effects. It's a really nice outlook, isn't it? And people buy it. People buy it. Okay. So you can do a simple program, or you can do one a la carte where you break down the enzymes and the probiotics separately. You may need some of the other things depending on what your situation is. However, this will give you the more complete program just on those formulas. This is what it looks like with a cross-section, and that's what it looks like with an unhealthy, dysfunctional GI tract. You can see the yeast, you can see the eggs. The probiotics are very limited. It looks like a war zone, right? Where a bomb was dropped. So it takes time to change this. Especially if you've been on prednisone, antibiotics, right? If your diet's been poor, a lot of sugar, alcohol. This is a very complex system. We're simplifying it for terms of this discussion. But you have over 400 different types of bacteria in your intestinal tract. In addition, in the white of the pie graph, right? The one piece of pizza there in the white, that's the number of cells in your body. It's a lot, right? This is the number of bacteria in your intestinal tract. It's 10 times the amount of cells. The average person is going to have anywhere between 2 and 5 pounds of intestinal flora, right? So we need to feed it, cultivate it, manage it, because when stress goes up, GI repair goes down. What the wise man say? They said, how'd you live such a long and healthy life? He says, well, all those nights I should have been up worrying all night, just went to sleep. Right? So stress plays a tremendous role for digestion and immune function. So we have the GI Solutions Booklets. And this puts it all together. One we have right in the retail area, so we can get those for you. So the GI Solutions is going to take you right through the complete GI program. You don't need to have autoimmune conditions or food allergies. You can just support your digestion to maximize what? Absorption, assimilation, and excretion. Okay, so this is the GI system. Some of the causes for GI disorders. There's the program right there. Here's a good diet to follow. And everyone should try at least the Probezyme that we have back there. Questions at all? Anything we went over? Yes.
Like if you're type A, your digestion is good, so they automatically right away eliminate tomatoes, corn, meat, a lot of foods you can't eat. So I wonder what you think about that.
Well, I think everything works and nothing works forever, right? If you look at those diets, each one of them, each category will eliminate some potential food allergens, right? Yeah. So I'm not 100% positive that's the best diet out there for everybody. I look at it this way. If you follow a fitness diet, then you'll look like a fitness person. You got to follow the diet that you want to look like. The sumo wrestling diet is a tremendous amount of calories once or twice a day. Why? They want to increase fat storage. So if you want to increase fat, you skip meals and eat bigger meals once or twice a day. If you want to be leaner, you eat smaller meals based on the diet I just gave you. Well, it eliminates bread and dairy and processed food. So most people, if they eat fish, vegetables, salads, greens, a little bit of fruit maybe, nuts, seeds, beans, You can even do unprocessed carbs like yams, sweet potatoes, oatmeal. Get the idea? When people follow my program, they do really well. So if the blood type diet works for you, fantastic. But I think the reason it works for most people is it eliminates some of the more common food allergens in each category. And that's why people may do well. But if it works for you, great.
The only other thing is when I was when you get to the point where what am I doing because you're so used to a certain way of eating and then it's not there anymore. You can't make a sandwich, it's lunch meat, you can't. So it's a pot, you know, it's sometimes it becomes a problem what to eat, especially if you're working and you're looking for food because it takes a lot of time to process it. So I just really wonder how you bridge that gap.
Well, it's simple but not easy, right? If it was that easy, everyone would be in great shape. You know, when I work with Mike Gallagher in the field, he has a cooler pack with him every day. Other people in the field don't. You know, I was at the gym at 5:30 this morning. Did I really want to be there? I don't know. Once I'm there, I'm fine. And I go to work out for mental relief as much as physical, but I was in there this morning. You know, other people may be in bed. Depends on what you want. So you can make it as hard as you want or as easy as you want. The other thing is don't look at it like a punishment. You know, be grateful that you're able to come here and learn and have the tools to help you. But now it's a lot easier than it was years ago because you have access to a lot more types of food. But you got to prepare for it. Yes, absolutely.
So do you have times when you'll make a lot of organic chicken, you put it there in the freezer, you have it ready when you want to eat? Or
I always have leftovers, yeah. My wife makes enough food for the next day, so I can eat for 2 or 3 days on that food, either at lunch or snacks or stuff like that. I do shakes. I do the Betty Lou's bars because they're unprocessed. Little snack balls are great. They give you fantastic fiber, energy, and there's nothing bad in there, so your blood sugar doesn't go crazy. So you got to find tools. You know, they're bridges. So if you're going to eat, I recommend about 5 times a day a meal or a snack. So it's hard to do with just food by itself, but what if you had 1 shake and 1 little snack ball? Now you only need 3 more. You know, so you got to figure out what your meals and snacks are going to be, and then you space them out. About every 2 to 4 hours, you should be eating. And I recommend taking the supplements once or twice a day. Don't try and take them 6 times a day. Oh, I got to take this one a half hour before I eat. I got to take this one when I eat. I got to take this one an hour after I eat. I got to take this 3 hours. I mean, you going to be able to maintain that? Probably not. So you got to be realistic too. Do you work out of your house? Do you not work? Do you travel? Those are all things you got to take into consideration. And if you need help, that's where I can sit down with you for an hour and map out a program for you based on your lifestyle. Great question. Yes?
Would you have to take, or should you take, the SBC and the superbiotic, or is it one or the other?
Not at the same time. The SBC would be first because that's your probiotic that transports the 2 most common bacteria for diarrhea and yeast. Remember, that's like the cop that takes them from the prison to the courthouse to the prison. That's a short-term probiotic that doesn't necessarily build up in your body, but it's great at attaching to those bacteria and pulling them out when you have a bowel movement. Now that you got some of that bacteria cleaned out, now you can bring the superbiotics in, and it's going to start staking claim to the land, right? Makes sense? I like it at night before bed. Yeah. You're welcome. Great question. Anybody else? Yes.
If you always have yeast, how long do you take the SBC? Like, you never get, like I never get rid of my yeast, so do I always take SBC? Like,
Well, you may want to add in Can to Kill,
yeah.
which could help kill it off. And then we're going to look at what you may be having some things in your diet that's feeding the yeast. Yeast grow very well on fermented sugars. So alcohol, sugars, processed foods, dairy products, all feed the yeast. And then we're going to look, some other things. But try Can to Kill. 3 in the morning. It's a new product. 3 in the morning.
That's it for the candy kill, just 3 in the morning?
Yes. Well, hold on one at a time. She's asking about yogurt, right? Fermented dairy may be okay, right? Yogurt, but it's got to be unsweetened. If it's flavored, how many grams of sugar does it have? About 20. Might as well have a Snickers bar if you can eat 20 grams of sugar, or Dairy Queen. Why waste it on yogurt? Because you think the yogurt's healthy. So you have to do unflavored. What I've been told by quite a few of the females in some of the offices I work with, they take the Pro Purples and put a scoop of that in unflavored yogurt, and it gives them blueberry flavor. So you got to start thinking, right? So blueberry flavored yogurt without all the sugar. But fermented dairy, like the yogurt, may be okay if it's organic and unflavored. Same thing, yeah. Yep. Yeah, again, it's the way the food's processed, right? So those are all better options than, the one.
If you have them both, you just buy unsweetened and you put the powder.
Yeah, right. Put the purples or the reds. Excuse me? In what? In plain? You can. We just got to watch. If you have a lot of yeast, the sugar from the fruit may irritate that. So normally, okay, right? You got to watch going crazy with fruit, but a little bit of fruit's okay. I do much better, and everyone's different, right? So don't use me, but just like, you got to experiment a little bit. I do better with berries, especially blueberries and blackberries. They seem to digest real nice. My sugar don't go crazy. I actually do well with bananas where most people don't. Melons and cantaloupe and stuff, my blood sugar goes real high. So you got to experiment a little bit. It's good to maybe track your blood sugar sometimes to see what, types of fruits. And then I try and eliminate all juices for everybody. All juice. I mean, for you, you don't have any issues with weight, obviously. You're healthy. If you have a little bit of organic juice, not a big deal. But for most people, they don't need the extra sugar.
If you make your own juice, like some veggie juice, like spinach and all that. But
Yeah, how often do you do your juice? Every day?
I do for my husband. For me, whenever
Yeah.
every so often.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, you got to watch even with the juices, what you're putting in there, because it could be a lot of sugar.
Oh,
Yeah. But, yeah, obviously juicing is very good and healthy for you. Yep. I like to put a little protein in there so it's more balanced. And the Super Shake has protein, fat, and fiber. So even if you put a half a scoop or even a teaspoon or a tablespoon, you're balancing that meal out. Because I don't like to do just straight sugar, even if it's fruit or juice. I like to balance it out with a little bit of fat, a little bit more fiber. Because the problem with juices, there's no fiber, so it absorbs really quick into the bloodstream. Great questions. You guys got me on my toes today. I keep studying. Well, thanks, folks. Yes.
You were talking about prebiotics
Yes.
and probiotics. And prebiotics are it's a food for the probiotics.
Right.
Are there natural foods that have prebiotics?
Yeah, anything with fiber. Fruits, veggies, beans, right? Nuts, seeds, good complex carbs like oatmeal, yams, sweet potatoes, brown rice. You're not going to get a lot from foods. Maybe some yogurts. Yeah. But not a lot from food. Fermented. Yeah, and you want to create an environment, because you already have probiotics in your body, right? You got to create an environment that you're feeding the good bacteria and you're trying to starve the bad bacteria, right? So you got to watch with antibiotics. You got to watch with sugar, with alcohol, stress, and low fiber. So you just got to get it back into your favor, right? You need the balance to be in your favor. And then, nothing wrong with taking a probiotic. I don't take one every day, but I'll take the superbiotics for like 2 or 3 months and maybe take a month or 2 off. Some people need to take it every day. but I take a lot of enzymes now. I find enzymes for me work great when I eat, and they work even better when I don't eat. So just taking them throughout the day, it seems to really help with digestion a lot, and the stomach is always flatter when I take enzymes. Yes.
Coffee. A lot of people ask me about coffee. I see
What about it?
on the list there for food list.
What's it say?
Rare occasions coffee.
Yeah, I mean, if you suck down coffees all day, your body's going to be very acidic. You're going to deplete a lot of minerals. You're going to be dehydrated. Plus, it can affect your adrenals and your blood sugar. If you have a little cup of coffee before you work out, maybe it's not a big deal. But you can't run on adrenaline all day with coffee. You can, but what happens over time, your body gets depleted. Remember, you may not show any symptoms for years, and by the time you show symptoms, sometimes it's too late. So I'm not saying it's all bad, but if you're going to work out, a little coffee may be beneficial. Yes?
What do you think about the balance of the pH water that's going on right now, like the Trader Joe's and all that? Does that have anything to do with interrupt your yeast and everything? Like, will it kind of push it out? Will it help you, or what do you think on it?
Well, I have to see the product, right? So when I hit Trader Joe's, you know.
pH of, and the different waters are higher pH, like Fiji water and whatnot. They're different pHs.
Yeah, I don't like it too high, right? Fiji's probably the best water in a bottle, or Evian. They're head and shoulders above all the others. Because, right, they got the energy in them, right? They have the pH balance. They're deodorized. There's no chlorine. There's no metals. It's about as clean as you can get. We have a machine around the corner if you guys want to take a look at it when we're done. That's the best machine in the world. There's 10 steps that it does, including putting minerals back in and antioxidants in the water. Yeah. And you try it, you can tell right away. I mean, it's just...
And would that pH water help fight yeast?
Well, I don't think it'll necessarily fight yeast. It's about, again, the environment, right? And that's what it's trying to do. But I don't like the water to be too high pH either. You know, some people are cranking theirs up with some of these machines up to 9. I don't think that's a great idea either. The body's about balance, right? And neutral is about 7, right?
Does it have a bad chocolate have a bad effect if you're using like it kind of makes you up a little bit?
I would never stop a woman from her chocolate. A little piece of dark chocolate with maybe a little glass of wine, maybe for a great evening, right? Again, if you're working out, you're eating good all day, you have a little bit of dark chocolate and a glass of red wine, it can be very relaxing and beneficial health-wise. But if you're eating, you know, no breakfast, and then you had fast food for lunch, and then you had, you know, a sub or something for dinner, and then drinking a bottle of wine and, you know, Hershey's, whatever, I don't even know what size they come in, but the big block, it's probably not a good idea, right? It's all about moderation and reward. The other thing I always do for people, once you're at your goal, you can have 1 or 2 cheat meals a week, right? Meals, not days, meals. And you can go 2, 4, or 6 drinks a week. So, a glass of red wine a day is not going to hurt you. 6 a day may. I'm all about 90, 10 rule. If you do the right thing 90% of the time, 10% you can treat a little bit. Not a big deal. Plus, look for healthy versions. There's organic wines now. There's really nice dark chocolates. Go to a nice place where you can get those type of things, right? Any liquor store. Fry is one, or Frey, F-R-Y-E. Yep. F-R-Y-E. F-R-Y-E. Frey or Fry. All right, folks, I don't want to go over time, so I'll be here to answer any questions. The doc will be speaking in about 10 minutes. You guys were fantastic. Thank you very much.